This is somewhat long film. This is Jim Anton. This is when we visited the Antons. They were in Turin, Italy, and we went to stay with them. And that's their little daughter Kim, who's now grown, of course, has kids like everybody else. This was some 30 years ago. This is 2012 as I speak. This is one of the parks in the city, which was, like they all are, they're beautiful. This is Milan, where we went down. That's the Galleria, one of the first shopping centers, and there's the busy Milanese. I guess that's what you call them. I hope so, God. And this, of course, we're off in Venice. We made very quick out-of-body trips to all of them. And I wanted to capture a bit of Venice, which is a real city on the sea. You know, the closest we can come to it here is probably Fort Lauderdale, but that's just the residential areas. Here, everything is done by water. They have big ships coming in, garbage ships, funeral ships, the little boats that take the tourists around, you know, with the gondolas, that kind of stuff. But I wanted to catch a little bit of the industrial part of Venice, because it's all there, you know, and there are some surrounding islands, of course, but it's all here. It's just a city that's grown, I guess, over the past 600 or 700 years from a marsh and into a great seagoing empire. And there's some deep water here, although the water keeps rising, and it's a problem the Italians have in trying to keep the city from going under. You know, during the high tides, the city is under about a foot of water, and they put some measures up now to stop the water from coming in. It's basically the only thing you can do. You really can't stop the city from sinking. That would be an impossible thing. This is a visit to Torcello, which I guess is where they make the glass, if I remember. And we went to some of the outlying islands. There's Kim again, and this is back in Turin. They had a little country home that they allowed, or they had some friends who had one that we stayed in. It had a coal stove or a wood stove. It was really like living in the country, if you know what I mean. There it is there, and it was cold at night, and there was the wood soot in the air. It was nice, and the flowers were incredible. We had a chance to see some of the countryside, which isn't that far from the city itself. That's the great thing about when you get to these cities, that the country is close. It's not really that way in the U.S. with the huge cities that sprawl on for miles and miles and miles. This, I think, we're simply, God knows where we are. I think we're here in Pisa. There we are. That's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And of course, we had to catch its lean, and I like to accentuate it a bit too. Why not? Although you're climbing up on it was something I didn't want to do, because there are no guardrails, you know. It's just those pillars, and I get a little dizzy from height. So I stayed on the ground, and there's me walking around. And I guess that this is in Turin, maybe, God knows, because these things are all mixed up. And then this is on a train. I know we took a train down to Naples, but somehow that must have been the train to Venice that we took. There's the train station that opens. It's a very modern train station. It opens right in the middle of the island there. You walk off it, and then you're right in the illusion of Venice. And I had the best time of my life there. We stayed in a little pension that was owned by two elderly women, and just a big room with huge windows. You felt like Keats or somebody when you opened the windows, you know. It was just a grand room with 14-foot ceilings. And the only equivalent to that is really when we go to Mexico and have those high ceilings. They don't have those anymore, but it kept everything nice and cool. And of course, this is during the springtime, so it was nice. I would, even though it can be a little rainy, I kind of like the springtime. It was nice, and I would advise going there if you could.